Welcome to the Retirement Wealth Podcast, where we help you navigate the often tricky waters of retirement planning.
That's right, Emily. And today, we're diving into a topic that many people overlook but can really impact your retirement finances.
Exactly. We're talking about how to avoid double taxation in retirement. It's one of those things that can sneak up on you, you know?
Right, and it can really eat into your hard-earned savings if you're not careful.
So we'll be covering some practical strategies to help you minimize those tax burdens and maybe even keep more of your money in your pocket.
We'll also discuss the different types of retirement accounts and how they're taxed, which is super important for planning.
And of course, we'll touch on some common mistakes people make when it comes to taxes in retirement.
Absolutely. And we're going to share some tips that can really help you optimize your withdrawals.
So whether you're nearing retirement or already enjoying it, this episode is packed with valuable insights.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's dive into what double taxation means and why it matters, especially during retirement.
You know, Emily, when we talk about double taxation and retirement, it's not just a theoretical issue. It really hits home for so many people right now.
Yeah, especially with everything going on in the economy. I mean, inflation seems to be a constant concern.
Exactly. Take someone like Janet, for instance. She's 62 and thinking about retiring in the next couple of years. With rising prices, she's worried that her savings won't stretch as far as they used to. So if she's paying taxes on her withdrawals, that can really eat into her budget, right?
Right. And if you think about it, with the cost of living going up, the last thing you want is for taxes to take even more from your retirement income.
Absolutely. And then there's the market volatility we've been seeing. Many people are hesitant to pull from their investments when the market is shaky. If they're getting taxed on those withdrawals, it just adds another layer of stress.
I've heard that a lot from folks. They want to make sure their money lasts, but the fear of taxes makes them hesitant to take action. It's like a double whammy.
Yes. And let's not forget about Social Security. With potential changes on the horizon, retirees are looking at how to maximize their benefits while minimizing taxes. If they're not careful, they could end up in a higher tax bracket just by taking their benefits.
That's a great point. I think many people don't realize how much their tax situation can change in retirement. They might expect it to be lower, but it's not always that straightforward.
Right, and then there are healthcare costs. Those can be a significant drain on finances. And if retirees are withdrawing more to cover those expenses, they may not be aware of the tax implications.
Oh, definitely. I've heard stories where retirees overspend on healthcare without considering how that affects their overall tax situation. It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly. And then there's legacy planning. Many people want to leave something behind for their loved ones. But if they haven't planned for taxes properly, they could end up diminishing the inheritance they intended to pass on.
That's so true. I think about families who work their whole lives to build wealth only to have it significantly reduced by taxes after they pass. It's heartbreaking.
It really is. So as we navigate these current economic trends, it's crucial for people to be proactive about tax efficiency. The emotional side of financial security in retirement can't be overstated. People want to feel secure, not just financially but emotionally, knowing they can handle whatever comes their way.
Right? The peace of mind that comes from knowing you've got a solid plan in place is invaluable. It can make all the difference in enjoying those retirement years instead of stressing over finances.
Exactly. And it's not just about numbers, it's about the quality of life. If you're constantly worried about whether you'll have enough money, it can really take away from the joy of retirement.
I've heard so many people say they want to travel, spend time with grandkids, or take up new hobbies, but the anxiety about finances holds them back.
Yes. That's why understanding the implications of double taxation is so important right now. By addressing this, retirees can better optimize their income streams, ensuring they're not losing out unnecessarily.
And with everything happening, it's a good time for people to reevaluate their retirement plans. A little bit of proactive planning can go a long way.
Absolutely. It's about being strategic. If you can position your assets in a way that minimizes taxes, you can potentially increase your disposable income in retirement.
So true. And this isn't just for high-income earners. Everyone can benefit from understanding how to avoid double taxation.
Yes, exactly. Whether you're working with a financial advisor or doing your own research, it's crucial to have a grasp on this topic. You want to make sure your hard-earned money is working for you, not against you.
And the earlier you can start planning, the better, right? It gives you more options down the line.
Definitely. If you're still working, you can make contributions to tax-advantaged accounts, or if you're already retired, you can look into strategies that involve Roth conversions or timing your withdrawals.
Those are great strategies. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much flexibility they actually have.
Right. It's about being informed and making choices that align with your financial goals.
So let's dive into some of those core strategies now. What are some of the ways people can effectively manage their tax situation to avoid that double taxation?
So let's dive into some core strategies that can really help folks avoid double taxation in retirement. One essential piece is understanding how different accounts are taxed.
Right, like the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, right?
Exactly. With a traditional IRA, you get a tax deduction when you contribute, but you'll pay taxes on withdrawals during retirement. Whereas with a Roth IRA, you pay taxes up front, but your withdrawals are tax-free.
That's a big difference, especially if someone expects to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the whole idea of tax diversification. It's important to have a mix of taxable, tax-deferred, and tax-free accounts.
So like having a portion of your savings in each type of account?
Yes. For example, you might have a 401k or traditional IRA for tax-deferred growth, a Roth IRA for tax-free income, and maybe some taxable brokerage accounts for flexibility.
That sounds like a solid strategy. But how do you decide how much to put into each account?
Well, a common rule of thumb is to consider your current tax rate versus your expected future rate. If you think your tax rate will be higher in retirement, you might lean more toward Roth accounts.
Got it. And what about stocks and bonds?
Great question. Stocks are generally more tax efficient in a Roth account because they can grow tax-free. Bonds, on the other hand, tend to generate more taxable income, so they might be better suited for tax-deferred accounts like a traditional IRA.
Interesting. So how does someone balance their portfolio with that in mind?
A common approach is the 70/30 portfolio, 70% in stocks and 30% in bonds. This can provide growth potential while offering some stability.
But that might change as you get closer to retirement, right?
Exactly. As you age, you might want to shift toward a more conservative allocation, maybe 60% stocks and 40% bonds to preserve capital.
And speaking of capital preservation, what about real estate?
Real estate can be a fantastic asset in retirement. Not only does it provide potential rental income, but it also can appreciate over time.
And isn't there a tax benefit to selling a primary residence?
Yes. If you've lived in your home for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you can exclude up to $250,000 of capital gains from taxes if single, or up to $500,000 if married. That's a significant tax break.
Wow, that's a game changer. Now, how do annuities fit into this picture?
Annuities can provide guaranteed income in retirement, which is appealing for many. The income is usually taxed as ordinary income, which is something to keep in mind.
So you might want to consider where you're pulling that income from, right?
Exactly. If you're going to draw from an annuity, you might want to do it when you're in a lower tax bracket to minimize the tax hit.
And what about Social Security?
Social Security can also be taxed. If your combined income exceeds certain thresholds, up to 85% of your benefits could be taxable.
That's a lot higher than many people expect. So timing your withdrawals can be key, right?
Right. Delaying Social Security until age 70 can increase your benefit. Plus, it might help you minimize taxes on your other income sources.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot. But let's talk about withdrawal strategies. What's the best way to approach that?
A popular guideline is the 4% rule, where you withdraw 4% of your retirement savings annually.
But is that a one-size-fits-all approach?
Not necessarily. It's a guideline, not a strict rule. Some folks may need more, especially if they have higher expenses, while others might be fine with less.
And what if someone wants to be more strategic about it?
That's where the bucket strategy comes in. You can divide your investments into buckets based on when you'll need the money.
Ooh, that makes sense.
So, for example, you might have a short-term bucket with cash or short-term bonds for immediate needs, a medium-term bucket with conservative growth investments, and a long-term bucket with stocks for growth.
I like that idea. It really helps you think about your time horizon.
Exactly. And asset allocation becomes crucial here, especially as you start withdrawing funds.
It sounds like a thoughtful approach can really help in reducing your tax burden.
Definitely. And don't forget about tax-saving techniques, like tax loss harvesting.
What's that?
It's when you sell investments at a loss to offset gains you've realized. This can help reduce your taxable income.
Smart. And what about required minimum distributions, or RMDs?
Ah, yes. RMDs are another key factor. Starting at age 72, you have to start taking withdrawals from your tax-deferred accounts, which can create a hefty tax bill if you're not prepared.
So planning ahead for those distributions is crucial.
Exactly. You want to be strategic about how and when you take those distributions to avoid a tax spike.
And that's where diversification really comes into play, right?
Right. By diversifying your income sources, Social Security, pensions, taxable accounts, you can manage your tax liability more effectively.
It sounds like a well-rounded strategy can really minimize the risk of double taxation.
Absolutely. But despite all these strategies, there are common pitfalls that people often fall into.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about those.
Emily, one of the most common pitfalls I see when people are planning for retirement is really underestimating the impact of taxes on their withdrawals.
Oh, for sure. It's like people think, I've saved all this money, now I can just take it out and enjoy it. But they don't realize how taxes can eat into those funds.
Exactly. A client of mine, let's call him John, thought he was set. He had a nice nest egg, but when he started withdrawing, he didn't account for the taxes. He ended up in a higher tax bracket than he anticipated, and it really cut into his lifestyle.
That's such an eye-opener. I think a lot of people just assume they'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, but that's not always the case.
Right, and that's where the sequence of returns risk comes into play. If you start withdrawing during a market downturn, it can really mess with your long-term strategy. I had a couple, the Smiths, who retired right before a market dip, and they had to withdraw more than they planned just to maintain their living standards.
Ouch! That sounds stressful.
Yeah, it was tough for them. They hadn't diversified properly, so they ended up relying heavily on their stock investments. When the market dropped, their withdrawals took a huge hit, and they were worried they wouldn't have enough for the rest of their lives.
That really highlights the importance of asset allocation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Having a mix of assets can help mitigate that risk. If they had some bonds or stable income sources, it could have buffered the blow.
So what do you think is the best way for retirees to ensure they're not caught off guard by these issues?
Well, first, they need to have a comprehensive withdrawal strategy. It should take taxes into account and consider the timing of their withdrawals. For example, if they can delay Social Security, they might want to do that to increase their future income.
Oh, claiming Social Security too early is another big mistake, isn't it?
Definitely. I had a client, Sarah, who claimed her benefits at 62 because she thought it was the best move. But she didn't realize that if she had waited just a few years, her monthly benefit would have been significantly higher, and that could have made a big difference over her retirement.
Right, because those benefits aren't just about the immediate cash flow. They can impact your income for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And then there's healthcare, which is something many people underestimate.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. The cost of healthcare in retirement can be a real shocker.
It really can. I had a couple, the Johnsons, who didn't factor in medical expenses when they made their retirement plans. They were living comfortably until a major health issue arose, and their out-of-pocket costs skyrocketed.
That must have been so stressful for them.
It was. They had to dip into their savings more than they wanted, and it really changed their retirement lifestyle. They wished they had created a healthcare budget as part of their retirement planning.
So what should listeners be looking for to avoid these pitfalls?
Well, a good starting point is to regularly review your retirement plan. Look for red flags, like if your withdrawal rate seems too high, or if you're overly reliant on one type of asset.
That makes sense. And maybe even consulting with a financial advisor can help catch those potential issues early?
Absolutely. An advisor can help create a balanced strategy and adjust it as needed. It's all about being proactive rather than reactive.
And I think communication is key too, right? Talking with your partner or family about these plans can help ensure everyone's on the same page.
Yes. It's crucial for couples to discuss their retirement goals and expectations. Sometimes, one partner might have different ideas about spending or lifestyle, and if they don't communicate, it can lead to misunderstandings down the line.
So true. It's all about aligning those goals.
And don't forget about lifestyle changes. As you age, your needs and wants can change, and it's important to reevaluate your plan regularly to ensure it still fits your life.
That's such a great point. Life is unpredictable, and staying flexible can make a big difference.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about avoiding mistakes, but also about being prepared to adapt. If the market shifts or you have unexpected expenses, having a plan in place will help you navigate those challenges.
So it sounds like a multifaceted approach is essential, right?
Yes, and it all starts with a solid foundation. Having a clear understanding of your finances, potential risks, and a flexible strategy can really help you avoid those common pitfalls.
And if someone finds themselves in one of these situations, what steps can they take to recover?
Well, first, assess your current financial situation. Take a hard look at your budget and see where adjustments can be made. If you're withdrawing too much, maybe consider scaling back temporarily.
Great advice. And perhaps diversifying investments can help too?
Yes, absolutely. Rebalancing your portfolio to include a mix of assets can help mitigate risks. And if you're unsure, it's wise to consult a professional who can provide guidance tailored to your situation.
So you're saying it's really about being proactive and making informed decisions?
Exactly. And remember, it's never too late to adjust your approach. Keeping an open mind and being willing to learn can lead to a more secure and enjoyable retirement.
That's such a reassuring message, David. It reminds us that while there are pitfalls, there are also plenty of strategies to navigate them successfully.
Right. And I think just being aware of these common mistakes is the first step in avoiding them.
Absolutely. Listeners, keep these lessons in mind as you plan for your retirement journey.
And remember, it's all about creating a plan that works for you and your unique situation.
Such great insights, David. Thank you for sharing, and I think we're ready to transition into some next steps for our listeners.
Sounds good. All right, so now that we've dived into the ins and outs of avoiding double taxation, let's talk about some immediate steps you can take right now.
Yeah, I think that's super important. So where do we start?
Well, first off, I'd recommend checking out some of the retirement calculators offered by companies like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. They have great tools that can help you project your retirement income and tax implications, just to get a clearer picture.
That's a great idea. Those calculators can really help you visualize your financial situation.
Exactly. And then you might also want to look at ssa.gov for your Social Security benefits. They have a ton of resources there that are really user-friendly.
Right, understanding what you'll get from Social Security is crucial. It's like laying the foundation for your retirement plan.
Absolutely. And if you haven't already, consider investing in some reliable tax software. Programs like TurboTax or H&R Block can guide you through the tax implications of your retirement income.
Oh, for sure. Those programs can highlight potential deductions or credits you might not even be aware of.
Yeah, and speaking of awareness, I think developing a habit of reviewing your portfolio quarterly is key. Just set aside a little time every few months to take a look at how your investments are performing.
That's such a good practice. It keeps you engaged with your financial health and allows you to pivot if needed.
Exactly. And while you're at it, running some retirement projections can be a game changer. You can see how changes in your spending, savings, or even tax strategies could impact your future.
I love that idea. It makes the whole process feel proactive instead of just reactive.
Right? And don't forget about financial planning apps. There are some really user-friendly ones out there that can help you track your expenses and savings goals.
Yeah, I've heard good things about apps like Mint or Personal Capital. They can really simplify tracking your financial life.
They really can. And for those who prefer a more traditional approach, picking up a couple of good books on retirement planning can also be beneficial. Titles like The Bogleheads, Guide to Retirement Planning, or How Much Can I Spend in Retirement are excellent resources.
Those sound great. Books like those can give you a deeper understanding and even inspire new ideas.
Exactly. And for those who enjoy podcasts, I'd recommend checking out shows that focus on financial literacy or retirement planning. They often share insights and strategies you might not think of on your own.
That's a fun way to learn, too. you can listen while you're doing other things. Multitasking at its best.
Definitely. And let's not forget about the importance of staying informed about any changes to tax laws or retirement accounts. Subscribing to newsletters from trusted financial institutions can keep you in the loop.
Yeah, being proactive about education is so important. What's that saying? Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. And it's never too late to improve your plan. Whether you're just starting your retirement journey or you're already in it, small steps can lead to big changes.
Absolutely. Just taking action, even if it's just one small thing, can really make a difference in your long-term financial health.
Right. And remember, it's all about finding what works best for you. Don't hesitate to reach out to a financial advisor for personalized guidance. Sometimes having that expert opinion can clarify things a lot.
That's such a good point. It can really help to have someone in your corner who knows the ins and outs.
So those are some practical first steps. With these tools in your pocket, you're ready to strengthen your retirement plan. Well, Emily, as we wrap up, let's highlight some of the key takeaways from our discussion on avoiding double taxation in retirement.
Absolutely, David. First off, we talked about the importance of understanding different types of retirement accounts, right? Like, knowing how traditional and Roth accounts are taxed differently can really help in planning.
Exactly. And the second takeaway is the value of tax diversification. Having a mix of taxable, tax-deferred, and tax-free accounts can give you more flexibility when it comes to withdrawals.
Right. That way, you can choose how to pull money based on your tax situation at that time. You know, it's all about strategizing for the best outcome.
And don't forget about the power of tax loss harvesting. It's a great way to offset gains, which can really make a difference in your overall tax bill.
Yes. And keeping track of your withdrawals and understanding how they impact your tax bracket is crucial too. It's all about being proactive.
Well, and let's not overlook the importance of consulting with a tax professional. They can really help navigate the complexities of tax laws as they apply to your situation.
For sure. It's all about building and protecting your retirement wealth. And being informed can empower you to make the right decisions.
Absolutely. So if you found value in today's episode, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and maybe drop a comment with your biggest takeaway or any questions you might have.
Yeah, and if you know someone who's planning for or already in retirement, sharing this episode could really help them too.
And next time, we're diving into how to invest in vacation rentals for income. That should be an exciting topic.
Definitely. We can't wait to share that with you.
So until then, take care, everyone.
Bye for now.